Welcome. This is Business 590, Strategic Management. I'm Dr. David Johnson. You can call me Dr. Johnson, Dr. J, both works fine. This is just the intro. I'm going to talk about the expectations for the class, what I want to do, what I want to accomplish. For the most part, it's a cool class because we're going to talk about a lot of things that are very applicable at your level as far as strategic management. Not just the strategy, because we have to talk about strategy and management, how the two are melded together. But in addition, there will be stuff that we're going to talk about that's not, I'm going to be honest with you, that you don't control. But we have to see it in the macro environment. We have to understand when, as companies go global, what does that mean? How do you manage that? What effect of strategy? How do you decide how to go global? And things like that, which you may not be using right now, but you will still help you in the context of understanding how all these things put together. It's kind of like bits and pieces, and they all grow into one big tapestry. A few things on the intro. My doctorate is in organization and management. I've taught a number of different classes. I love teaching. I love teaching at IAU. I love the fact that my students are people from around the world who took a chance to come here. They don't know anybody. They really, this isn't, when I say it's not your country from the standpoint of being a native here. So you took a risk to come to a place you really don't know and to try to succeed. And I think that's admirable. And anything I can do to help and encourage that, I want to be part of, which is, the staff is great. And it's one of the reasons I really like teaching here. That being said, one of the things I want to accomplish, we're going to go over the material, but there's some things, and I want to explain why. I am someone who wants to help you better express yourself with regard to writing. Everybody uses APA 6th edition, all the business schools do. And it's more than just the academic exercise. I got to say, I got to look at a lot of proposals, and when I see things are not spelled right, presented right, you got to wonder how professional they really are. I mean, that's, in all honesty, when we look at these things. And we do have first impressions of these things. Anybody who says that you're not being judged according to your way you speak is lying to you. We do. There is an initial hesitation. That's just reality. And you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So let's say you have a brother or sister that brings home a boyfriend or girlfriend, and they dress kind of sloppily. They use a lot of slang. You know what I mean? Thing like that. And they use a lot of slang. In the back of your mind, you are judging them, and you're saying, I think my brother or sister could do better than this. And it's not that you think them bad, but it's a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of how we view people, and we do. So if you're not a native speaker, there is that initial. It's not a matter of being prejudiced and hating somebody, but there is that hesitation. Well, one of the great equalizers is being able to write well. Most Americans don't write well. So here's a chance where somebody from a foreign country can actually do better. In fact, it's not unusual for people to learn foreign languages to be more correct than the natives themselves. It's really rather interesting. But the other part that I want to get to is the fact that, when I first had to learn Tongan, I was the Peace Corps to teach in Tongan. Initially, when you're learning a foreign language, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, is the fact that in the beginning, you're thinking in one language, and like for me, when I was learning Tongan, I'm thinking in English, and then as I'm learning Tongan, I have to translate it in my brain and then put it back out in Tongan. So I would hear something in Tongan, then I put it in English in my head, and then say in Tongan. Eventually, you get to fluency, so you're just speaking in English and reacting in English, and speaking in Tongan and reacting in Tongan. Same thing with you folks. So whatever native language you speak, you're doing so in your own language, and you're doing so in another language. And the more native that is, the easier it is to communicate. Writing is like that. APA is like a foreign language. The mechanics are kind of a foreign language, especially because, again, we don't really do a real good job in English. So we don't speak that well. So there's a chance to become more fluent. I've had so many students tell me that initially they didn't see it, but now they do. They're writing, and they're not thinking about what they're writing. Oh my gosh, is this in the right format? Is this how it's supposed? Is this the best way to put it? They're doing it fluently. So I want to help you folks get fluent in your writing. Now, that being said, I want you to understand the context. You will be graded on your content and how well you answer the questions. There will be, when you're going to submit your answers, I'm going to edit them and send them back to you. Now, there's going to be a lot of red, but you're not being graded on that. The whole idea is to help you get better. That's all. You're going to be graded on the content. It's not going to be unusual for some of you to go, oh my gosh, look at all that red. Yeah, I still got an A. Yeah, because you still answered the question well. And the idea is to continually move you along and help you improve. Now, I will say that if I'm making the same comment 3-4 papers in a row, then you're not reading my edits. I mean, I've had students that it's been 4 weeks and they still can't get my name right. So there is no excuse for that. You know, I've highlighted, this is my name. It's David Johnson, PhD. That's not that hard, but you haven't looked at any of the edits. This class, I'm also going a little bit further because I'm actually going to be supplying a lot of the templates for the papers. So you don't have to use them, but it's going to be a lot easier for you. An example, like on the title page, it says, unless your name just happens to be star student, you're going to erase that and you're going to put your name in. And where it says date, you're going to put the date in. So I'm trying to make it a little bit easier to help you have a better presentation, to help so this will be more fluent for you. But that's how, and again, one other thing as far as the grading, it's interesting. You will hear me use the expression broccoli in the teeth. What broccoli in the teeth means is this. You're on a date with somebody. Everything's going great. And then they have a piece of broccoli right here. And you're like, it's kind of distracting. You're trying to give them hints. And they're not getting the hints. But it's distracting as all heck. And even though you're trying to be a good date, even though you're trying to listen, you can't not look at that broccoli in the teeth. Well, this is what happens with bad spelling, bad grammar. Those become the broccoli in the teeth. And they can hesitate a reader. I will be perfectly honest, when professors grade papers, A papers get graded the fastest. Why? We don't have any of the broccoli in the teeth. We're not seeing spelling errors. For the love of God, I can never figure out why you have spell check. Hit spell check, fix your spelling errors. There's no excuse for that, especially at the master level. You're at a higher level of expectation here. You're not at the bachelor level, so the expectation is going to be higher, and it makes sense. It's that way at every school. So that's the expectation as far as the assignments go. You have to be on time. Again, discussion questions are due Friday. Assignments are due Sunday midnight. Every day you're late is a grade deduction. That's pretty standard across the board. There are some teachers that won't take your paper at all if you're late. I try not to be that draconian. But really, it's just like work. If you're at work and something's due Thursday, you don't get to submit it on Friday. You do that a couple of times and you're out of a job. I mean, you have to be on time. This is the expectation of the business world. That's the expectation in class, and it should be. Now, that being said, so you understand how the assignments are going to work, how well you answer the questions, address the questions, and answer them. The discussion questions are a little bit different. The discussion, now remember, they're discussion questions. They're supposed to be a back and forth. They're not that hard. However, I want them as mini essays, and if you look at the forum section, I will give you some examples. But they're little mini essays from the standpoint of, I expect you to cite your work. Anything you have an opinion of, unless it's a raw opinion, you need to cite it. Where did you get it from? I want you to get in those habits. So, when you do a discussion, let's say something's worth 25 points. Now, you need to read what I write. There's times when you submit something and I'll give you 10 points. But I will write a comment in there. Sometimes the comment is just informational. It just may be something to add to it, and I will write a paragraph or so. And then at the bottom, I might say, for full credit, respond with, I understand. Then your job is to reply, I understand. And then I change that 15 points to 25 points. Now, if I say reply with, quote, I get it, then you reply with, I get it. If I say reply with Rumpelstiltskin, then you reply with Rumpelstiltskin. It's the only way I can be assured that you've read my notes. Because in all honesty, if I just gave you the 25 points and I put the notes down, I have no assurances that you've read it. Because you're just looking at the points. So this is the way I have to do it in order to make people read the notes. Sometimes I'll have questions and maybe it just be for clarification. Like, can you extrapolate? Can you expand on what you were talking about? And then you reply. And if it goes back a couple of times, it's not a big time thing. And then you get the full credit. So it's not as hard as it sounds. But be aware, if you go, oh my God, I got 12 points. What do you write? And then you read and you read and you read and go, okay, I understand. And then I will change that. Sorry about that.
Call from Adam Johnson.
So that's how the discussion questions are going to go back and forth and so forth. And it's not difficult to get full credit. The only time you won't is if you're late. If you're late, you're late, and I can't help you that. And again, it's a great offer every day. And again, that's reasonable. Your master level students, these are reasonable expectations. So that's over with that. Again, I'm going to be supplying the discussion, the templates on a lot of the assignments to try and make your job easier. You're going to learn a lot also in the class about how to cite correctly. There's just a lot you're going to learn. This will help you in the future as you become more fluent. That's part of the job. It's not just the academic element of it as far as learning the concepts and so forth and being able to apply it, but you do need to be able to write better, and I'm telling you that is a deficiency that you want to minimize and get better at. So that's how I help you. Trying to get you more efficient at it. And honestly, the better you get, the fewer comments you get from me. I have students that have had me for they've had me a couple of times, and it's amazing how they talk about, man, my assignments are a lot easier. And that's my goal for that. I really want what's best for you. I want to help you as much as possible. I can't wait for you guys to succeed. When you guys are popular and you're CEOs of companies and so forth, I'll call you back. And CEOs of companies and so forth, then I want to be able to say, yes, I know that person. I mean, I'm really, really looking forward to it. I want what's best for you. So that's the gist of it. That's why I like IAU. That's why I like teaching here. And I look forward to classes. I really do enjoy it. So thank you very much, and I'll see you